Good afternoon, good morning, namaskaram, namaskar, and vanakkam. Welcome, my dear listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It is such a joy to have you all with me every day of the week. We have come to our Wednesday, and today is Wellness Wednesdays. And for those of you who have joined us for the first time, we are here on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, starting exactly at 21:37 UAE time. Once again, such a joy to have you. Let us go to our first song, which says like this: I want to be the moon among the stars, fly around the world, lighting up the dark at night.
Everybody wants to be somebody. I wanna be somebody too. If I'm gonna be known for something, I wanna be known for you. I wanna be the moon up among the stars, fly around the world, lighten up the dark at night. I'm nothing without the sun's amazing grace on everything I do. If you're shining on me, I'm shining right back for you. I wanna be the moon, Lord, I wanna be the moon for you.
Yeah, there's gonna be some cloudy days. Sometimes it's gonna cover up the work you're doing in me, but stay with every breath I breathe.
I wanna be the moon, up among the stars, fly around the world, lighten up the dark at night. I'm nothing without the sun's amazing grace on everything I do. If you're shining on me, I'm shining right back for you. I wanna be the moon,
Lord, I wanna be the moon for you.
Wow, everybody wants to be somebody. But the song says, I want to be the moon among the stars, fly around the world. If you're shining on me, I'm shining right back at you. I want to be the moon lord. I want to be the moon for you. Thank you, listeners. Now let's go to our kids segment and let's see what they have for us.
Bob's Radio 21.37, keep bobbing along.
Welcome to the kids segment. This is Kali, Carlos, and Kathy with you. Thought for today is: it helps to remember that there's more to life than this world, and there's more to existence than work and busyness. Matthew 6 verse 20 says, "Lay up for yourselves treasure in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal." Thanks for listening to the kids segment. This is what keep bobbing along. Bye.
Bye, kids. It's nice to have you on the show. And today is Wellness Wednesday. We have RJ Jay-Z with us, talking to us all about wellness and healthy living.
Bob's Radio 21.37, keep bobbing along.
Hi, Jay-Z. How are you doing?
Good, Bob.
Hey, nice to have you on the show once again. We had a lot of nutrition discussions. We talked about green juices. We talked about green leaves. We also talked about water. Now, today, what are we talking on Wellness Wednesday?
Maybe calcium would be a good topic.
Calcium.
Yeah.
Calcium. So, dairy?
Yeah, dairy calcium as opposed to non-dairy calcium. Maybe we can
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit.
You know, I've heard people say this dairy is not good, or some people say no, you need that. Now, if dairy is such a bad idea, where do we get the calcium from then?
Yeah, the thing is, there are so many non-dairy sources of calcium that we can easily get. For example, sesame has 8 times more calcium than milk. And believe it or not, Bob, green leaves, they are packed with calcium. I mean, it doesn't look like the calcium pill that you get in a bottle, but green leaves like kale and collard greens and other green vegetables are great sources of calcium, which is why the animals in the jungle, the big bone, strong animals, most of them just eat them.
Okay. Now, what do we need to absorb the calcium? How do we intake it?
Yeah, the problem with calcium is mostly absorption problem rather than a deficiency, because most of us are getting calcium anyway, whether we are dairy or non-dairy. And the reason why we have brittle bones and osteoporosis and other problems is probably because we are not absorbing it well. And we need sunlight, 20 minutes of sunlight a day to absorb the calcium, or we can use magnesium supplements or use or eat food that are high in magnesium, like magnesium citrate would be a good thing. So if you actually, focus on the absorption of calcium, that could resolve the problem. Right? It's not usually a case, especially in the modern world, it's not a case of deficiency. It's that the calcium is not being properly absorbed in our system.
Okay. So in my daily diet, what are the simple ways that I could still absorb calcium?
Some of the things that you can use, you can have beans, like, beans are a great source of calcium. Tofu is a great source of calcium. Like I said, sesame, 100 grams of sesame milk to 100 grams of milk is like 8 times more. Sesame milk is a great source of calcium. So there are like so many amazing sources, nuts and seeds, so many green leaves. There's so many amazing sources of calcium that you don't have to, barter with the information of milk to get there.
Right. Now, you spoke about, the fragility of the bones. Will, if we don't take enough dairy products, will the bone health be compromised on a non-dairy diet, let's say?
Not at all. In fact, the whole idea that you drink milk to get calcium is more of a marketing tag than anything else, because the Harvard study recently that came out, it said, the osteoporosis incidence is more in countries where they drink milk and cheese and other products. So there is a correlation between bone disease and the overconsumption of cow's milk. So like I said, a safer option, better absorbed and lighter load on the body is always non-dairy sources of calcium.
Excellent, excellent. You know what? I wish you could have told this to my mom when I was growing up. She was forcing me to drink milk all the time, and I did not like it. But thank you so much.
That was the information back then, so it's not really.
I know. Thank you so much for coming on air, JC. Be with us. We would love to keep talking to you. Now let's go to our game segment.
Bob's Radio 21.37. Keep bobbing along.
Listeners, yes, it's time for the game segment. We have already received immense response over the last 2 days with many correct answers. Thank you, dear listeners. For our new listeners, let me quickly explain the game. We'll be playing few lines from a song and you have to find the Bible verse it corresponds to. Every day, we will be playing a different song. A randomizer will pick a winner from the list of listeners who get all correct answers. You know what, Bob? Seeing the response we received, I feel this game is too easy. So why don't we take it up to a new level?
Absolutely. Let's do that.
All right. So for today, the song we play corresponds to 3 different Bible verses. If you guess all 3, then well, excellent. But if not, 2 out of 3 will be considered. So are we ready, listeners? 1, 2, 3.
So let your light so shine, that men may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So let your light so shine, that men may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Arise you who sleep, awake from the dead. Arise, you who sleep, awake from the dead, and Christ will shine on you, and Christ will shine on you. He's taken me to the banquet hall, and his banner over me is love. He's taken me to the banquet hall, and his banner over me is love.
Hope all of you have heard the song for today. Send us your answers by email on bobsradio21.37@gmail.com. Over to you, Bob.
Hey, thank you, Beth. And I hope that that song was more clear than yesterday, because our singer, I'd asked him to sing clearly and loudly, but I think he didn't do a good job yesterday. I think he must have done a better job today. Maybe we should fire him and get another singer. What do you think?
I definitely think that.
Yeah, I think let's ask the listeners if we should fire the singer and get us a new one. But anyway, thank you, Beth, for the song. Now for the quiz. Now, what do we have next, Beth?
You know what, Bob? Someone has been hanging around since 2137, and I think we should call him on air.
Wow, and who's that?
It's Mackie!
Wow! Hello, welcome once again to the show, Mackie the Monkey. How are you?
Hi, Bob. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Mackie. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, Mackie, tell us, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm just resting my tail. I'm drained and I'm tired as I was so busy and anxious the last week with monkey business and other things.
Yeah, I heard that apart from your monkey business, you are also looking for a new tree to live in.
Yes, you heard that right, Bob. But no luck so far. I still live in a residence at the highest branch of the tree in the middle of nowhere, middle of the Middle East.
But tell me, Mackie, why do you want to shift now?
Oh, Bob, I want a bigger and better tree to store all the bananas I have right now, and then bring in more and more and more bananas. I want to be like my other monkey friend Cookie, who just upgraded into a sycamore tree.
Sycamore tree in the middle of nowhere?
Yes, it's really massive. Tall tree and short monkey. If you know what I mean.
I see. But Mackie, didn't you listen to the kids segment today?
Yes, I heard Carlos say Matthew 6 verse 20. But lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. But, Bob, does that apply to my bananas and tree?
What do you think, Mackie?
Now that I think of it, yes, I am busy, tired, and grumpy monkey because I've been greedy, right?
Yes, Mackie, that's right.
You know, Bob, I remember another verse from 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 and 7. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it.
Yes, that's absolutely correct, Mackie.
You know what, Bob? I'm going to try to be content with what I have, and I'm going to start off by sharing all the extra bananas with Cookie and all my other monkey friends.
Oh, Mackie, but don't forget, masks, sanitizers, and maintain social distance at all times.
Yes, I will, Bob. Thank you, Bob. I'll be back soon to talk to you again.
Bye, Mackie.
Bye.
Bob's Radio 21.37. Keep bobbing along.
Welcome back, dear listeners. We have a special guest with us, and her name is Shibi Justus. Let me just tell you her bio. Shibi Justus has been married for 21 years with 2 children. She worked in Abu Dhabi for about 20 years, and she's presently living in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. She's done her master's in counseling psychology. Now, together with her husband, Justice Zachariah, he is also with us today. They run a counseling center named We Serve Life Builders. Their main focus is conducting workshops for empowering teens and preparing couples for marriage. Hi, Shibi, how are you?
Hello, Bob. I'm so happy to be here with you all.
Nice to hear your voice, and it's so glad that both of you, Shibi and Justice, you could both come on our show. It's nice to hear from you again. I think let's go into our talk for today.
Bob's Radio 21.37. Keep bobbing along.
Over to you, JC, for taking us through the talk.
So happy to have you with us here, Shibi. Thank you for joining us. Let's get right into the topic. Now that we are in a time of COVID pandemic and the teenagers are stuck in their homes, not going to schools, there is a lot of boxed in feelings that they have. How do you think, as a counseling psychologist, how do you think teenagers can handle this?
Yeah, especially the teens have this struggle of being in isolation because they are in that phase where they are finding out who they are and what they have to be doing with their life. These are the main questions that in that time of their development. And because of that, they want to explore. And they find it frustrating when they cannot go out and, hang out with their friends and do things. So what they do is spend time in the virtual world or just consume entertainment. But the thing is that we need to help them to know that this is a phase they need to know themselves.
Right.
So any ways which can help them to, we can help them to get to know what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, so they can sharpen their strength and work on their weaknesses will help them to realize that meaning and purpose. Yeah.
Right. And what do you think as parents, something practical that we can do for our children? Can you suggest something?
One of the, every person is multifaceted. So they have multiple things that they can work on. Like, a person can become a doctor as well as a musician, artist, many things. So don't just stick to one thing, help them to explore in various fields. Another thing is that to get to know themselves is journaling, is that, write down how has been their day, what they were, passionate about in that day, what did they dislike. And so this will help to know themselves.
Journaling is something that even they would enjoy doing, and parents can also help them do that. During these times, there's a situation where a lot of couples are stuck among themselves. They don't have an avenue to be, outside the home where they can be distracted or do some other activity. And oftentimes it leads to a lot of pent-up aggression in the home. How do you think, as a counselor, they can handle this situation?
Yeah, actually speaking, this kind of a lifestyle is changing from what we've been used to. So actually that is a struggle. But if we look into it, we can turn it into an advantage, because this is a time that's giving us both the partners to know each other. They have been busy before. They've been not been able to speak to one another in a deep, meaningful way. Just information passing has been happening. Do this, do this. I've been doing this kind of information communication has been happening, but deep, meaningful about what I feel about myself, what I wanted to do, all kind of this emotional talk, and also knowing one another in a spiritual way. That is what God intended. That's what we see in Adam and Eve in the garden, only two people, but this is what intimacy, being in one, turning into one flesh, so
I've never quite thought of it that way. You're right. In the garden, it was just Adam and Eve.
Yes. Yeah, and they found meaning in that and real purpose and fulfilling life in that, So we move away from our preset mind. We can turn this into an advantage.
We can actually turn this into a time of knowing and learning together and growing together.
That's what develop real intimacy, and later on any couple will have a time where the children go off. And where they are left, what they are left with is only two of them.
They are left with themselves, with each other. Yes.
Use this as a practice.
So we can actually use this, like you said, as a time to harness the skill of understanding and loving each other more. There's another thing that I wanted to ask now that we are in the middle of social distancing, which many of the governments are encouraging. But do you think this is, what do you think is going to be the impact of social distancing on people's emotions and their character?
Yeah, one of the main thing that we are seeing is rising is fear. And it has an advantage of keeping us safe. It's not a bad emotion, but then overflooding ourselves with fear is something bad. So we need to work on our emotions. Okay, so that can happen only when we control our thoughts. It's where what we think is what we are. That's what Proverbs 23:7 says. So we need to work on our thoughts.
Yes.
And one of the ways that we can do is reflection. In a day, what have been my thoughts? Mainly what I've been thinking on. So
we usually we just reflect. We don't reflect on our thoughts. Yes, that's very interesting. Yeah.
Then you will know that where my stress is coming from, where my anxiety is coming from. So what you need to do is that you need to work on, you having good thoughts, and you need to restructure your thoughts with the biblical truth. All those things are the practical help of, and yes, that's a practical help.
The news and all the things and the deaths and the fatalities going around, it's so difficult to have good thoughts.
Yes.
That would be quite a discipline to master, having good thoughts. Yes,
that's why we need to specifically learn this skill of, managing our thoughts.
Yes,
and
we are not a victim of our thoughts. We can master them. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And Shibi, and there's another thing that I've always thought about, that if people had any physical ailments, they don't have any problem going to a doctor or a holistic help or anything. But if they have something emotional or psychological, there's that stigma around asking for help. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's actually, again, a misconception. You see, when you are, counseling is like a friend walking with you. That's actually when you are in, like your leg is fractured and you need a help to, to make it through the day or something, somebody, you lean on somebody till your leg gets healed, and also your muscle gets strong. So that way, some of the time, traumatic times especially, you cannot control your thoughts all by yourself. So thinking that I can do it is something it's something dangerous, even because we are seeing people giving into depression, and that's leading them to even thinking about life ending. So don't just be in that state. Take help, reach out. There is nothing wrong.
There's no shame in reaching out. That's what you're saying. Yes, there's no shame.
You are just asking a friend to walk with you during that time. Lost time. This is not the time that you should think about this. Reach out.
And the benefits can be so great. Healing of the mind is so much more wholesome than the body. So, you should not trust your thoughts at that moment, because it may not be the constructive thoughts that's coming into you. All the thoughts are very, very hopeless thoughts, and very, those kinds of thoughts are coming into your emotions, are creating such thoughts only. So don't trust your thoughts. Reach out to somebody else who can help you to think clearly. So there is no shame in that. Take help. That is so powerful, Shibi. Don't trust your thoughts. They may not always be true. Yes, yes.
True.
Thank you
It's
so
not
much.
facts.
That's
It's not facts.
right,
Yes.
right. And as a clinical psychologist, you had so many, there were so many options out there. Why did you choose this field?
Again, working on people is my passion. I mean,
It's
so,
always
and
fun to talk to know people and
Yes.
help them out. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's wonderful that you've come onto the show, Shibi, and it's amazing that you are investing your lives in the lives of others so that they would be blessed, they would be encouraged. Dear listeners, if you would like to contact them, let me give you their contact number. It's +91 6382 964292. Once again, +91 6382 964292, or you can get in touch with them on weservelifebuilders@gmail.com. weservelifebuilders@gmail.com, and they will help you out, and you can go through these various aspects of counseling and get help. Once again, Shibi, thank you so much for coming on to Bob's Radio.
Thank you. Thank you all.
It was such a joy having you and talking to you about counseling, and I hope that God would continue to use you more and more to bless the lives of youngsters and teenagers today. Thank you, JC, for helping us with the talk. Let's go to our last song today, and it says, "Run to Jesus."
He'll be there, he'll be there every time. When you're all out of heart and out of road, and you don't really know which way to go, come on, run to Jesus. If you're lost and you don't know where to start, it don't really matter where you are. Come on, yeah. Run to Jesus. Your story starts and ends with mercy, and it's waiting in his arms, 'cause he knows what you're feeling, so don't just stop believing. He's got you right where you belong. So when you're all out of heart and out of road, and you don't really know which way to go, come on, run to Jesus.
Absolutely. When you don't know where to go, run to Jesus and you find solution to all your problems there. Thank you, dear listeners. Once again, love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for being with us once again on Wellness Wednesday. Tomorrow is our Talking Thursdays, and we have a very, very special guest with us. Now, that is a surprise. I'm really privileged to have him on our show tomorrow, and I hope that it will be a real blessing to all of you. Once again, thank you so much for joining. This is Bob from Bob's Radio 21.37 FM signing out. Good night, goodbye, and God be with you.